So I'm a co-founder of a company called Proxy. Proxy is an executive multiplier company, is what we call ourselves. And so ultimately, we help small and medium-sized business leaders grow their business by giving them time to focus on the things that will help them grow, right? So part of that is part virtual assistant in that we're handling their calendar and their email, but all of that really to focus on so that we give them the time back to actually get focused on the right things, right? So that we talk about if you don't have support, you are support. And so we give them that support so that then we can help them with initiatives. So whatever their list is, and we call it a leader's list, whatever that list is of things that a leader wants to get accomplished, we help them make that happen, really as an integrator. So if you think about like EOS, talking about an integrator as a management system and a management philosophy, we're helping them as an integrator move things forward, working with them, working with their team to get the business pieces done that help them move forward. What we realized, and again, we started with one person doing that, me. And so I was doing that for our initial clients, and we were doing a pilot. And so I managed all of that. So I was everything from looking at the inbox all the way through helping get ready for a board meeting, get ready for advisory board, attending that meeting, and even contributing in that meeting. So everything in between, all of that range. But what I realized very quickly was that, and we always knew we would add team members and grow from there. So we needed to be able to share that account across the team. So when you asked me about team, it was always going to be a team concept of what other players did we need, and how can we share that one inbox that comes to Proxy and handles everything from there, and we're delegate on our clients' accounts.
It sounds like, I can imagine you're probably working with lots of different clients. You mentioned delegated emails and all of that. Right. How were you and like anyone who's on your team managing all of that before you discovered Shift?
Yeah. So when we started, I was in Chrome browsers, right? So I just had a different Chrome browser for each client. And so I had their email and their calendar and whatever applications I needed for that account were all in separate Chrome browsers with, themes and color codes so that I could tell where I was from one time to the next. And again, because we're the chief of staff, the executive multiplier for multiple companies, it is switching through them all day long, right? So you're jumping from one to the next. So you had to know where you were, but it was all in Chrome. And once I got to 3, I was okay at 3, but that's, so I've got one for my own for Proxy and then one for each client. When I got to my 4th client, I didn't know how I could keep up anymore. And I started not knowing where I was at different times and just too much to keep up with. And my partner, actually, when I told him, one of my partners is our CTO. So I told him, I need a solution for this. This is not going to work. And he had been using Shift for a while, for several years. He saw a client using it somewhere and immediately went and tried it, liked it. And he had a fractional CMO business. So similar, right? In that he was working for multiple clients. So he was using Shift for that. And he said, well, give this a try and see what you think. And it was really immediately, I knew that I had the right tool for what I needed to do. And that was still when it was just me. And it just, once I had team members, it was so obvious that it was the right tool for me. When I got to that place where I started hiring and I could just sign them up and, and I've grown with y'all, right? So as y'all have grown and we've been growing, workspaces wasn't a thing at first. Right. And so then you introduce workspaces and that, changed our world as well, because until then we still had things open everywhere, still harder to share. And so now when I hire a new person, literally on their first day, they learn Shift first, right? So they go in and they download their Shift and we tell them which clients to load. And we have a training tool as well. So they're learning those two from the beginning, but Trainual takes them through exactly how to set up Shift, which clients. We start sharing workspaces, and immediately they have access to everything they need. And we add LastPass in there too, which so get all of those working together, and you're immediately logged in and ready to go.
How would you say, if you had to sort of summarize it into a few sentences, if you will, how would you say that shift helps you and your team work better?
Yeah, I mean, again, because we can all be in the same email, in the same Slack channels, in the same tools, we are all right there together as this well-oiled machine, watching the same exact thing, working together that way. And again, access across the board. Anything that you load, they immediately have access as well, so that they can jump right in there. So it really does enable us to, again, the client knows a person, right? They know one person, and we're able to do all of that in Shift in a way that that enables our vision, right? Of one person, no matter, you just always write to me, you always write to your person, and the whole team can see it and make it work. We have lots of clients now, and so certainly what happens on the left is this is my proxy email, and then each of my clients that I interact with the most are listed here. Love that I can do logos, and so that they're all sitting there and I can easily know where I'm going and what client I'm in. So this is client email and calendar, and so I can jump through any of those. The clients that specifically use Slack with me, so this is my proxy Slack and my client Slack, and so I can go to those and see those numbers pop up. And again, that's what we're watching all the time, right? So it's important to have the numbers. And then we have the workspaces that match the client up here. So each workspace. So each of my team members has different logos, different access. And so you only load what you need. Again, for me, one of the things that's really important is, and I've been in client service my whole career, and in the agency world, and we didn't talk to our clients about our other clients, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm sharing my screen all day long, and whatever is up there, I'm typically sharing in Shift. And so one of the things I love is this little bar and the fact that I can move that, and the client only sees them, right? So anytime I'm on with the client, they only see their logo. They don't see any other logos, and there's no words down here. So I'm not rolling over to show the names. But when I get ready to get on a call, the first thing I do is move that thing and get ready, and I'm ready for the next client. And I'm doing that all day long, right? And my whole team does that if they're sharing as well. So that little bar is masterful for me. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to share my screen while I was in Shift, which would make it harder for me. And so just one of those great ones that I use all the time. All of my workspaces tend to have other programs or other files that are open so that you can glance at a file right away. It's probably a toss-up between those two.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy to hear that you're using workspaces because not all folks really know about it,
Right.
One of those features that, it kind of appears right when you first sign up for Shift,
right.
But it's not always something that people think to always look into. So it's great.
And just in my proxy one, here's 7 or 8 things in my proxy one, plus a file over here I use all the time. So yeah, it's we all use it. And so again, as soon as someone new starts with our company, the first thing we do is give them access and send them the workspace. And then anything we want to talk about from there, they're ready to go. They don't have to go find it. They don't have to do any of that. And then, when you guys added, we use LastPass, and it's important for us because of how the access we have with our clients. And so it's very specific by team member. But when y'all added the password system too, that I'd throw that in there too. The fact that that Shift will save your passwords, so you're not constantly dealing with that as well. Super helpful as well.
What advice, sometimes we get folks who, again, kind of as I mentioned earlier, they'll see Shift and they're like, okay, yeah, seems cool, but not really sure. Like, why would I spend money on this? Right. And if you had a chance to chat directly with anybody who had that question, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think anybody that has multiple emails addresses that you want to be paying attention to at the same time should at least try it, right? It's super affordable to try, and you should just get in there and see how you like the fact that you can go look at each different email address, your calendars. Certainly there's ways to pull your calendar all into one, but not as easily as being able to do it this way and keep your world separate if you want to keep them separate. But really, and again, the way my partner was using it is just the fact that he had 3 or 4 or 5 email addresses for different clients. he threw it in there a different way, right? He wasn't watching the client as well. He's just keeping his world straight. So even if you just had work and home, still worth trying. If you use them both during the day, I would say go try it.
Anything else you'd like to add that we maybe didn't touch on?
I think the only thing I just really appreciate y'all and the fact that, like I said, we've grown while y'all have grown, and I really appreciate your support and the fact that when there's a problem, we can quickly do a ticket and y'all quickly get back to us and take care of it. And just the roadmap while I haven't seen exactly what's on the roadmap, I can certainly tell that you're adding features and you keep on tweaking it and making it better. So when we have issues, they don't last very long because you're going to get them fixed. Again, that's another reason why people that work with y'all, that try y'all, will find that out very quickly, that you're very open to that. You're wanting it to be a good experience for the customer, and it is.
I noticed you got an interesting setup behind you. So if you don't mind, I have a few questions. It looks like you have a lot of books. Anything in particular? Like, do you have any favorites you can recommend?
Certainly right above my head, there are business books. And so I think in that list in particular, there's some of the old ones, like Good to Great is something I really still very much believe in and tell clients about when I see them doing too many things at the same time. That's probably the one that jumps out to me the most. And then I was trying to think, there's probably other stuff up on that. There's a sports books over here too. So there's a great Larry Bird book over there too. But yeah, those are the ones that probably jump out.
And so are you a football fan then?
Yeah, I'm a huge sports fan in general. And
okay.
So yes, that's a football signed by Tony Dorsett, which is my first favorite player. And then there's a that's a golden Dirk bobblehead. So Dirk Nowitzki from the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
They put out a series of 10 bobbleheads of Dirk that they gave away throughout the season. And then after the season, they took one of each and dipped them in gold. And
wow.
So this is a one of a kind golden bobblehead that you had to win through a social media contest. And so I'm a 20-year season ticket holder and won that. Got to meet Dirk in person, which I hadn't gotten to meet him before. Went to a game, so just a special deal. And then there's a signed baseball there too. So yeah, sports in general. And then I just went to my very first rugby match. So Dallas just got a professional rugby team. So that's a ball from a rugby ball that I hadn't had before. So yeah, lots of sports up there.
I think that about wraps things up for us here. Thank you so much again for taking the time to chat with me today.